Hey everybody, this is Kim Dankey. I am your fast track instructor, and I'm very, very happy to be here tonight because I see Kristen is asking a question. Say how to see everyone. I missed something. Well, you just want to make sure that you have your chat set to all panelists and attendees. In your chat feature, it says to, and then it says all panelists, but that's a drop-down menu. So click there and then choose the one that says all panelists and attendees. And that way you can see, everybody can see what you're typing as well. So let's set our chat to that. I found Shibboleth last year when I got on the scale one morning and I weighed 185.5, and my highest weight ever not pregnant was 186. So when that happened, I said, you have got to do something about this. And so thankfully I had seen a friend posting on Facebook all about what she was doing. And so I called her and I said, hey, what are you doing? And so she told me all about Shibboleth, and I went and scoured their website. I played with every link and every button and every tab. I read every document. I went up to their store in Cartersville at the time. That store is now in Kennesaw, Georgia. For those of you who are just wondering, this is really an online program. It's just in Georgia, there's two stores, Dalton and Kennesaw. But everybody across the world, and we do have people in other countries doing this, is online. So, but I went up to the store. I said, this is a real thing. This is real. Because, you know, you could feel like you are, that things are gimmicky, but it's not. It's the real thing. And so I loved it. I joined, and I have been doing this now for since April of last year, and I've lost 50 pounds, and I've been maintaining that for 10 months. Here's the really super cool thing. I only wanted to lose 35.5 pounds, and the Lord gave me a 50-pound weight loss. When I got to what I thought my goal weight should be, I went into the maintenance program, and in maintenance, I lost another 15 pounds. So the Lord has settled me out right where He wants me, and it's a 50-pound weight loss, and I'm thrilled to have it. I feel so much better, so much better. So one of the things that I feel is extremely important is when you join a program or you're learning something new, that you learn the terminology that you're going to read, you're going to hear, you're going to see written, and all of that. So that's what this is all about tonight, the lifestyle overview. And then I'm going to show you what to participate in this week so that you can make the most of what you are doing. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to do a little PowerPoint. And so can everybody see this PowerPoint? And y'all feel free to type as much as you want to. And especially if you think of a question, please ask it. Even if I'm just talking away, because I will just get on a roll and I'll be talking. But the thing is, if you don't ask the question when you think of it, if you're like me, you might forget it. So just go ahead and type it, and then I'll come back to it, okay? All right, thank you. I see that y'all can see that. That is wonderful. Good. Okay, well, welcome to the Shibboleth Lifestyle, and that's exactly what it is. It is not a diet. It is a lifestyle, and that is what I'm so excited about, because I don't like to diet. I'm not a dieter. I've never wanted to diet, so I really haven't ever dieted. But I did need to know what to do to lose weight, and this is something that I can stick with forever. So that's the reason it's called a lifestyle, because we don't want to make things be so super restrictive that you're not going to be willing to stick with it for the rest of your life. So we put in all the pieces and parts that make this thing a lifestyle. So the basics are this. There are two modes on Shibboleth. You are either in a weight loss mode or maintenance mode. There are 3 differences between these two modes. 3. One is the number of holidays that you can use in a calendar month. 2 is the way that you eat fruit. 3 is your mindset. Have you gotten your mindset to live in this for the life, your life is the 3rd one. So Number of holidays, how you eat fruit, and your mindset. Those are the three differences between weight loss and maintenance. Because really, once you learn this whole program, this is what you do, but those few things will change. There's two types of days. You're either having what we call a perfect day or a holiday. It's one or the other. You're having a perfect day or a holiday. If you joined as a lifetime member, then you're seeing some extra, if you've played in your journal at all, you're going to see some extra types of days listed in there. All those other ones are really just variations of perfect days. As you learn the program and advance, you can use those if you want to. In the beginning, they're not that important to use. Use them as this is your basics, the beginning, so perfect day or holiday. But if you're a Tiger's Eye lifetime member, you're going to see other options in there. You use those once you advance, okay? So let's just focus on perfect day and holiday. A holiday is simply a day where you are not having a perfect day. And we're going to go over what makes a perfect day in just a second, so you'll know that if you're not hitting some component of that, then you're having a holiday. And do you see this little picture right here? Do you see where it says enjoy the holidays? No one that I train do I allow you guys to call it a cheat day. It's not a cheat day. Cheating has a negative connotation. We are not cheating. So we're having a holiday, and a holiday should be enjoyed. Okay, so I want you to enjoy both. I want you to enjoy your perfect days and your holidays, but in a more reasonable way than maybe we were doing before. Okay, how many holidays are allowed? In weight loss mode, you can use up to 6 holidays in a calendar month. Now, I'm pretty serious about this. I'm kind of a stickler for things. And so I actually have this little calendar here. I just printed out a calendar and cut them. I know you can do them however you want to, but that worked for my calendar. And so what I do for my holidays, this should be a whole nother class, but I'm going to give you this tip real quick. I ask myself at the beginning of each month 3 questions. Am I going out of town? Because if so, I want holidays. 2, is there an actual holiday like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, or is there a birthday, an anniversary, or something like that that I want to have a holiday for that? And is there any other work functions or any other functions that I want to have a holiday for? Because once you've marked those off on your calendar, you might see that you have 8 marked off. Well, you're going to have to come up with 2 that you're willing to have a perfect day on if you're in weight loss mode, okay? Because you want to keep the integrity of the program strong so that you have the best results. So those are the questions that I ask myself when I start a month. Because last month, my vacation was at the end of the month, so I had to plan for that so that I had my holidays allowed. So you can see what I'm talking about with that, to just try to plan those out. It makes a big difference. Once you get into maintenance, when you hit your victory, you get your victory badge, you hit your goal weight, you can move your profile over to maintenance mode. And the thing that changes is you can get up to 12 holidays in a calendar month if you want them. Now, the thing about this is you might be sitting there wondering, oh my goodness, I could eat whatever I wanted to for 12 days out of the month, and I'm still going to maintain my weight loss. Yes, you will, as long as your other days are truly perfect days, not slipping over into okay days, okay? Because an okay day is really just a holiday, all right? So up to 12 holidays in a calendar month. But anything that we talk about this week in the new member fast track is all going to be focused on weight loss. So we'll be talking about 6 holidays in a calendar month. So how do you have a perfect day? You have a perfect day by following the Shibboleth Shield. Now, just real quick, in the new member fast track group, if you're not a member of that, please join that group. We'll put a link to it in the end. But if you're not a member of that group, please join it. I just said that. Duh. So there is a video called The Origins of Shibboleth. I want you to watch that video because you can see Travis's heart and the why, and you can see that he is a real person doing this business to help other people. Actually, it's a ministry first and foremost, but you can see where his heart is from that. But in the book of Judges, in the Bible, they had the word shibboleth. It's a Hebrew word, and at that time it was a password. So if you've seen anything that says shibboleth, it's a secret. Shibboleth was a secret back in those days, but there's many other reasons he called it that, and you'll have to watch that video for those details. But shibboleth is the actual pronunciation, but we call it shibboleth, and we just are long owing the O, shibboleth. So how do you have a perfect day? You follow, and but shibboleth rolls off my tongue easier when I'm having to say two SH words in a row. I know. I used to be a school teacher and a principal, so I'm kind of funny that way. Follow the shibboleth shield. After 2 perfect days, you get your body into what we call EFB. EFB stands for efficient fat burning. Give me some hearts on Facebook and tell me in the Zoom room, have you ever tried to burn fat before, but you don't think you were doing it efficiently? Because this is how we burn fat in Shibboleth. We do it efficiently. We're going to teach you all the ways to do this efficiently. Why would you want to do it the hard way, okay? So we're going to efficiently burn fat. It takes 2 perfect days to get there, because during those 2 perfect days, insulin is leaving your body and glycogen, which is sugar stores, is leaving your body. Okay. So in order to have a perfect day, we have 5 components. They're listed out right here. Number 1 is water. Number 2 is journaling your foods. Number 3 is combinations. Number 4 is portions. And number 5 is timing. Now, you're over a course of time, you're going to start to get those memorized. But water, journaling, combinations, portions, and timing. Those 5 things. And we're going to go over a slide for each one. So component number 1 of the Shibboleth Shield is that you want to get in at least half a gallon of water every day, up to 1 gallon. You're going to be much more satisfied if you're shooting for the gallon. And if you need some type of ounces midway, do half your body weight, okay, if you need a different one. But at least get in 64 ounces, which is a half a gallon of water. In order to say you've had a perfect day, it needs to be at least 64. But if you're shooting for that 128, you're going to feel much more satisfied in your mind and in your body. And look at the third point right down here. It says a dehydrated body will not efficiently give up fat or waste. So we've got to hydrate our body. Got to hydrate. During the first week, your hydration levels are going to be normalizing. And that's a good thing, because you're carrying around maybe some stagnant water too, and this other water and the other things that you put into play the first week are going to help normalize your hydration levels, and it's going to help you flush out fat and waste. So component number 2 of the Shibboleth Shield is to journal. Now, you are now a citizen of planet Shibboleth. And there are no idle bites on planet Shibboleth. If you put it in right here, it needs to be written down. It needs to be written down. So we journal daily, okay? If you bite it, you write it. If you nibble it, you scribble it. If you drink it, you ink it. If you hog it, you log it. If you hog it, you log it, okay? So you write it down. And here's the thing. What journaling does for you, in my mind, is it helps you learn the program. It also helps you live a more aware life. I was doing things before just kind of unconsciously, and I need to make conscious decisions about eating. I was doing things very mindlessly, and I need to be mindful about decisions when it comes to eating and what I should do to be healthy. So we're going to write it down. But one of the absolute biggest things that I tell people about journaling their food is, if you're journaling your food, you are creating your future meal plans, because in your journal, you can go in there and print your journal out. And if you've had a super great, successful week that you really enjoyed, you want to print that out. If you don't have it written down, then you won't have it. Okay, so that's why it's really important also to make sure that you are writing down your food. So writing down your food just really helps you learn the program and be more aware of what you are doing. So you want to do that. You want to journal. If you don't journal, it's not a perfect day. Component number 3 of the Shibboleth Shield, we call it combinations, okay? You're going to eat properly combined meals. Properly combined meals keep away what we call the fat bus. The fat bus is insulin, and we're going to have a whole slide on that in just a second, but you're going to learn some really crazy things about insulin. I had no idea that insulin was a hormone, and it is a growth hormone, and it is focused on fat storage. It's focused on fat storage. So if it's focused on fat storage, we've got to learn how to control what we eat so that fat doesn't get stored, because we don't want to store new fat while we're trying to burn fat. So we're going to keep away the fat bus. But I also want you to keep in mind that when it comes to component number 3 of the SHIELD combinations, it doesn't just have to be combining food. You also can eat meal replacements, which, by the way, I kind of like a lot because I like quick and easy things. So really, combinations, we got to teach you how to eat whole foods in the right way, but there's other options too, because we're going to teach you how to eat the recipes that are in the website. You've got meal replacements, and you have restaurant guides, options too. But the whole point is you're eating in a way that's controlling insulin. There's not one thing in our food library that would be in the approved food library if it doesn't control insulin if you use it in the proper way, okay? So you're just going to eat in a way that controls insulin. That can be food combining. Food combining is very important because this is the whole food aspect of our program. But we also have meal replacements, and I want people to keep those in mind because those can make life very, very easy. And I'm going to come back to that one because that component number 3 is a biggie. So I have a whole nother slide on that one. And tomorrow night's webinar, which is another live webinar, is the whole hour is on food combining, okay? Component number 4 of the Shibboleth Shield is portion control. Do you know that most people think, I need to lose weight, I'm going to control my portions? It does help. It makes a big difference, but it is not the number one way to weight reduction. The number one way to weight reduction is insulin control. So if you pair insulin control with portion control, you are just supercharging everything that you are doing, okay? So we're going to eat properly portioned meals from a 6 to 8 inch plate using the two-hand rule. For those of you who are on a device where you can see me, because I realize some of you guys are on a phone or something and you might not be able to see me, all you can see is the slides. You're just going to put your for those of you that can see me, where you can look, you're going to put your 2 hands together as close as possible, okay? Not your thumbs. Your thumbs aren't in the way. They got to move them out of the way. Your pointer fingers are going to line up right next to each other, okay? And then you're going to place your hands down over your food. And if you cannot see your food sticking out around your hands, you've portion controlled. You also do not want to have your food to be any thicker than the thickest part of your hand. So I always laugh and say, you're not stacking up your Thanksgiving plate, putting your hands up here in front of your face and saying, I can't see my food. Got to be down over your food, okay? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. And really, I say a 6 to 8 inch plate because that helps us visually think our plate is full. But let's say you go to a restaurant and they serve on a giant plate, because a lot of times they do. The 2-hand rule trumps any size plate no matter what. Okay, so use the 2-hand rule. So we've just touched on component 1, water. Y'all can do that tomorrow. 2, journaling. You can write down what you eat tomorrow. Component number 3 is eating in a way that controls insulin, which is our combinations. We're going to show you some easy things to do tomorrow. This is getting to the point that I want y'all to get started tomorrow, because I think you can lose 7 pounds in 7 days for sure if you go ahead and get started. And then component number 4 of the shield, the portions, you can start that tomorrow. Okay. The first 4 that we've gone over, they must be met in order to say you are having a perfect day. Component number 5 is timing. It is ultra important, but it is for optimization. If you don't hit it just right, it doesn't keep you from having a perfect day, okay? There are certain things that on this that would, but some of it's not. So here's what you got to do. No more than 3 meals a day. No more than 3 meals a day. You may have heard the myth that you should have 5 or 6 small meals a day, but that is not accurate. That is a myth. We do not need that much food. We need to give our body a break from digestion. We are not cows. Cows graze. Cows have 4 stomachs. We don't have 4 stomachs. We have 1. We do not need to graze. We eat a meal, and then we eat a second meal 4 to 6 hours apart, a third meal 4 to 6 hours apart. You may even hear us call meals eating episodes, because if you just wanted a snack as one of your 3 eating episodes in a day, you could do that. So it's not a meal, it's a snack. You could do that. One of the things that I'll call her my Shibboleth mom, Patricia Hurt, she said, the reason I love that it's called an eating episode is because an episode, like a TV episode, has a beginning and an end. So if you think about this, your eating episode has a beginning and an end, meaning it's not going to drag on for hours while we continue to eat and graze. So eating episodes. So if you're a breakfast eater, you can eat within an hour or 2 of waking, but then have lunch 4 to 6 hours later and dinner 4 to 6 hours later after that. So that gives you 3 meals just spaced out during the day. And that's really all you need. That's really all you need. But we are giving you a practical, sustainable lifestyle. And most people aren't willing to give up certain things, so we've got to make this livable for you. And so in moments, if you really want to go 3 meals a day, do it. That would be the best results. But in moments of what we call mental weakness, we have things called freebies, an extra, or a snack. Freebies are egg whites. Nobody ever pushed back away from the table and said, hey, I'm getting too big eating these egg whites. Nobody ever said that. And then there's some sugar-free Jell-O, pickles. There's some different things that are just considered freebies. They're not going to have any impact on you if you eat those, so you can eat them and kind of make it through to the next meal, especially in the beginning. If you're a little hungry, you can utilize those freebies. Then there's something that we have, it's called an extra. Chick-fil-A Diet Lemonade is not 0 calorie. So we call it an extra. So if you know you're going to have Chick-fil-A that day and you want a diet lemonade, you could call that an extra. If you go to the Mexican restaurant and you want a 1/4 cup of cheese dip, you can call that an extra for the day. So there's little extras that you can do, and you kind of figure all of those out over time. And then you can do a snack if you wanted to. So that actually looks like grazing to me if you were to do all of those. So what I would do, and see, here's the thing. Maybe there's a day where you have 3 meals, you eat freebies, you have an extra, and you have a snack. Guess what it is? It's a perfect day. But that's good. That's good. You've had a perfect day. But then there's better. Better might look like you had 3 meals and then you ate a freebie when you needed it. That would be better. Best would be if you just ate your 3 meals. Okay, so, but all of the options, all of those are perfect days. So there's a lot of leeway in there, because nothing that we have that's approved as a freebie, an extra, or a snack is going to have any insulin impact on you. And so you're going to stay in EFB. You'll stay in EFB. All right. So that's the important part, is you want to stay in efficient fat burning. Now, I want to go back to portions real quick. Now, I'm going to tell you some things tonight that if you're a note taker, you might want to write it down, because I'm going to ask you again tomorrow night, and I want y'all to type it in the chat tomorrow night. There's 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat, 3,500 calories. So in order to lose 1 pound of fat, you have got to be in a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories. Well, that's where the portion control comes in. The portion control is where we're going to have our calorie deficit. The combinations is where we're going to control insulin. The portion control is where we're going to have our calorie deficit. The combinations is also what helps us burn fat efficiently. So let's look at this freebies. Let's say that you have freebies all day long, and they finally add up to something. So let's just say 30 calories, okay? Let's say that you have an extra, that's about 70 calories. And we're not real big calorie counters on here, but this helps me prove my point. Then if you eat a snack, but let's just say none of our snacks are over 200 calories. So let's just say 200. Well, 270 is 270 and 30 is 300. If you divide 300 into 3,500, if you're having freebies, extra, and a snack every single day, you're slowing yourself down by losing a pound of fat by 11 days. So if you are in weight loss mode, and this is the really great thing I want you to know, when I was in weight loss mode, I did 3 meals a day, and that is it. But now that I'm in maintenance, I do 3 meals, an extra, and a snack daily. So that's because I am maintaining that way. But in weight loss, I just did the 3 meals because I kind of had the mentality of let me lock this in, rip off the knob, and get this baby done. Because yeah, I want you to know that weight loss mode is not the mode that we want you to be in for the rest of your life. Weight loss mode should have a beginning and then you get to victory. All right. And then your maintenance mode should be the rest of your life. All right. So maybe you are a little bit stricter on yourself during weight loss, but then maybe you utilize an extra or a snack or something like that once you get to maintenance or on those days when you're feeling a little different and you need a little more. Okay. But there's freedom in there and you can make the most of this. But this timing component, let's say that you're really hungry and you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner all before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but then you decide not to eat again till the next morning. You did not spread your meals out 4 to 6 hours, but you still didn't eat more than 3 meals. That's just kind of what you did for the day. That's still a perfect day, even though it wasn't exact with that, okay? So the timing, this is all about optimization. I like to tell you all your options so that you can make those decisions for yourself, but timing is all about optimization. But what we are trying not to do is graze, because grazing is hurting us, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to revisit component number 3, combinations. So the question is, how do I put together a properly combined meal? So in order to combine food and learn food combining, you just have to know that there are 7 categories of food. So, and you just got to learn over time which foods go in which categories. Now, here's the most awesome thing about being on Planet Shibboleth. You do not have to eat anything that you don't like. So when you're going through classes and you hear somebody say Brussels sprouts and you just all of a sudden like, ew, I'm not eating Brussels sprouts. Guess what? You don't have to. You just don't eat them. You scratch them off. You never have to worry about that. But what you do need to do is you need to figure out the foods that you like that are in these categories so that you can eat them. And what I tell people to do with that is to take a blank white sheet of paper and just start brainstorming all the foods that you like. Just crazily start writing down all the foods that you like. Then go into the food library and look those foods up, write what category they're on next to it, then organize the list into categories and you'll have a nice little list to get started with. So that's what I would do if it were me and I was starting. So let's go over what the 7 categories are. Anytime you see a 1 or the letters LP, that stands for a lean protein. It's got all the amino acids that you need. It is the building blocks of life, and it has almost none, if any, fat. When you see a 2 or the letters FC, that is a fibrous carb. That's where you're going to find green beans, broccoli, asparagus, things like that. But don't worry, that's where we've got some bread, and that's going to be really awesome for those of you that like bread. When you see a 3 or an EC, that is an energy carb. That's where all your potatoes are. That's where lima beans are, most lighter colored beans, all of your peas, those kind of things, corn. When you see a 4 or the letters PF, this is a protein plus fat. That's where all cuts of steak are. That's where your whole eggs are. Egg whites, by the way, are in lean protein, but whole eggs are in protein plus fat. When you see a 5 or FR, that's fruit. And some of our papers say AC, which is antioxidant carb. And just know that fruit and all of its beautiful colors are full of phytonutrients and antioxidants, and they're very, very good for you. We do not want to take fruit away from you, but fruit does need to be eaten differently in weight loss mode, Okay, so we'll learn that a little bit tonight, more tomorrow night. When you see the number 6 and the letters S, F, that's superfood, superfood. Now, this is a question for tomorrow night. If you're taking notes, write this down. A food qualifies to be a superfood if it has all 4 macronutrients. If you know anything about macronutrients, you may be thinking, I'm only aware of 3. On planet Shibboleth, we call water a macronutrient. So that might be the one that you're not thinking of. But we also have protein, carbs, and fat. So superfood has all 4 macronutrients in there, okay? Number 7, or SHF, is shellfish, shellfish. And look right here in parentheses, which is really just a lean protein. This is another question for tomorrow night. Category 7 shellfish is really just a lean protein. The reason that shellfish got pulled off and put in its own category is because due to biblical reasons, some people don't want to eat shellfish, and due to medical reasons, there are allergies and other things. So it got pulled off of there. But I want you to keep in mind that the category is called shellfish. That doesn't mean that everything in that category has a shell. So for example, octopus doesn't have a shell. It's in this category. I always just laugh and say, if it swims funny, it lives in the water, and it's not a fish, it goes in the shellfish category, okay? So category 1 and category 7 can be used interchangeably. So anytime somebody says, hey, I need a lean protein, you could give an example of a lean protein or a shellfish, because they're both lean proteins, okay? But if you're wanting to be more specific, you do want to separate them into 1 and 7. All right, so there are a few little overview things that I want to hit tonight. Tomorrow night's webinar is going to be where we're going lean protein and read off about what 10 examples of those things would be, okay? And if you are following along in the new member fast track group this week, every single morning I have a pre-recorded video that comes out that's going to show you how to use the website, all right, which is important for you to watch each morning so that you have the best of your week. I did set that up kind of like a little electronic textbook, but if you go all the way to the very bottom of that group, which by the way, you can find the beginning of that group because I keep it cleaned out each week of the non-essential post and I start over. If you go through each post, it's like you were going through a chapter in a textbook and teaching yourself something, okay? So y'all do that. There are 5 of these 7 that you can eat by themselves. So that's a question for tomorrow night. How many can you eat by themselves? There are 5 categories that you do not need to even combine. So you can eat lean protein by itself. You can eat fibrous carbs by themselves. You can eat protein plus fat by itself. You can eat superfood by itself, and you can eat shellfish by itself. So if you just wake up in the morning and you don't have anything in your refrigerator except eggs, you can make some scrambled eggs if you like eggs, and you can have a perfect breakfast. Okay, so protein plus fat can be eaten by itself. So, and if you ate some of those things by themselves, you wouldn't be combining it, would you? But you would be eating in a way that's controlling insulin. That's why component number 3, combinations, is really eating in a way that's controlling insulin. So there's 5 you can eat by themselves. Now let's hit the ones that have to be eaten in a special way. So that's a number 3, energy carbs, and number 5, fruit. If you want to eat an energy carb, we'll talk about that one first, it must be eaten with a lean protein, which is either lean protein or shellfish, and a fibrous carb. So that's a must and an and. It must be eaten with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So what that might look like is, let's say you want some lima beans. I'm going to use the 2-hand example. I'm going to put lima beans up here, maybe where my fingers are. And by the way, we do have a portion control plate in this store or online if you wanted to order that. And it kind of tells you what goes on the plate. And that's actually really nice if somebody wanted to order that. But let's say you put lima beans up here where your fingers are, and you know lima beans are an energy carb. And this is what I trained my brain. If it's a 3, and I know it's a 3, I go ding, ding, ding. must be paired properly. What else do I want to put with this? So I might choose, I'm going to keep everything real simple tonight. I might choose a chicken breast. So I'll put the chicken breast under this other hand. And then maybe the palm of my hand where I'm putting the lima beans at where my fingers are, I might put some broccoli or green beans, okay? And then you use your two hands, you put them down over your food and you eat. Make sure that that food isn't sticking out, you know, all around and everything. So let me give you an example of what's happening, because it is, what Shibboleth is it's science, it's food science and self-discipline. Those components of the shield is self-discipline applied with the science of component number 3, okay? So let's talk about this. Lima beans are going to bring a little bit of an insulin release. Now, with the amount that we're talking about, it's really about 1/4 of a cup. So I would not consider that you have overeaten the lima beans. But actually everything that you eat brings a little bit of an insulin release, but it's not enough to worry about or to mess up your blood sugar and stuff. So, but lima beans bring a little bit more of an insulin release. Well, one, you didn't overeat them. So it's not dose after dose after dose of insulin to deal with, let's just say, a huge potato or something like that. But you also, because you were smart enough to join Shibboleth, and oops, I lost my train of thought. Well, that happens sometimes. Okay, so you ate your lima beans and you learned tonight, I need to pair that with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So you did that. Well, you're going to let it's like kind of like food being the medicine to deal with the insulin. So the protein in the lean protein and the fiber in the fibrous carb are going to help neutralize or attenuate the insulin that came from the lima beans. Well, they're going to take out that insulin and you're still in efficient fat burning. But if you ate that in a wrong way, you would be taken out of efficient fat burning. And we're going to go over what that completely is in a second, okay? So it's really just science. It is totally science, okay? So let's give another example, because fruit, in weight loss, fruit must be combined properly. Once you get into maintenance, you can still combine fruit properly, you know, for a perfect day. But let's say that you want to have a piece of fruit as a snack, a serving of fruit as a snack. You can do that in weight loss and not in weight loss, in maintenance and not have to combine it. Okay. So that's the difference with fruit. In weight loss mode, fruit must be combined properly, but in maintenance, you can still combine it properly, which is important. But you can also have it as a snack if you want to by itself. Let's say that you wake up in the morning and you want to have some berries, okay? So, and berries are really your best for weight loss, but let's say you want to have some berries. If you do that, maybe you make an egg white spinach omelet. Well, egg whites are your lean protein, spinach is your fibrous carbs, so you'll have a little bit of an insulin release from that fruit, but you're not going to overeat it, so it's not going to be a large amount. Then you're going to let the protein in the egg whites and the fiber in the spinach neutralize the insulin that came from the berries or whatever fruit you ate. So let's say that you're having a low-fat or Greek non-fat yogurt, and you put some, we're going to talk about hemp products tomorrow night, which is really good. You can maybe put some hemp flakes in there with some berries. That would be that'd be a 1, 2, and 5. That's when I say that 1, 2, and 5, it's like you put it all together. That's combining, okay? So that might be what that looked like. But let's say that you are having a picnic at your house, and you are going to have some watermelon for everybody. Well, you can have that watermelon and still enjoy this with everybody else, because you know, hey, I need to pair watermelon properly because it's a fruit, and you know I must have it with a 1 and a 2. Maybe the hamburgers that you make that day are 96% lean ground beef hamburger, and the bun that you use is a category 2 bun. Now, personally, I don't use buns. I never have. I'm just not a big bun person. I might do some green beans next to it. But I'm just trying to show you that if you choose the right bun, that's a category 2 bun, you could have what looks like a hamburger tastes like a hamburger with some watermelon as your dessert, and you still ate a properly combined meal. This is exciting information, okay? Because you can eat just about anything that you want to in a Shibboleth approved way and still have a perfect day. If you want to do something that you just absolutely love to do, but it's not Shibboleth approved, you can. Guess what it's called? It's called a holiday, and you just enjoy it. You just enjoy it. Okay, I got a question. Can you explain how nuts and more works with an apple? I certainly can. Nuts and more is extra fortified with protein. That's why. The protein helps to offset the insulin release from the apple, and apple is not an extremely high glycemic fruit. It's right under berries. Apples are best for weight loss, but the nuts and more is fortified with extra protein, and it helps. And Anna, what that is called, it's called a perfect pairing. You are going to learn about other things that don't just follow the rules, but that Travis and the team have looked at and decided people might like to eat this together and it's not going to hurt them. We're going to call it a perfect pairing. It's something that doesn't follow the rules but still works. I don't understand that question, Anna. Would you rephrase the question for me, that second one? So that's what you're going to do with that. Now, let's talk about this baby right here. Protein plus fat. Protein plus fat. First of all, I want you to know that the protein plus fat, just because it's got the word fat in there, that is not a bad word. Fat helps us in certain bodily functions. Our body needs it for certain functions. So we're going to want to, incorporate some of these. Yes, Anna, you know what? I would actually have to look at that and see if it's a meal. Oh yeah, anything that's a perfect pairing is a meal, but I would look at it and see if it could be used as a snack. But a perfect pairing is typically a meal. Yes, Anna. Yes. Protein plus fat can be eaten by itself, okay? But what you do not, y'all write this down. What you do not want to eat protein plus fat with is your energy carbs, your fruit, or your superfoods. So your protein plus fat, you do not want to eat that with anything that's got some carbs that bring insulin release. There's the tip. And this right here, this combination stuff we're talking is one of the secrets of Shibboleth, okay? So if you've got something with fat in it, don't eat it with anything that brings an insulin release. So let's just talk about this classic plate of a steak and baked potato. The steak is a good protein, and the fat that's in there, yes, Wendy, I'm going to repeat that. So protein plus fat can be eaten by itself, but what you don't want to eat it with is category 3 energy carbs, category 5 fruit, or category 6 superfood. So you're not going to put a protein plus fat with any foods that bring an insulin release. It's extremely important to control insulin if you've got fat in the food. Now, was that what you needed, Wendy? Good, okay. So let's talk about that classic plate, steak and baked potato. You've eaten the steak, great protein, the fat is no problem. Our body's gonna use that for certain healthy functions that it needs, and it's just gonna, that fat's just gonna get used up as energy, okay? But if we pair that with a baked potato, and let's think about going out to a restaurant, we order that. The baked potato is not even the normal size. It's huge. It's the size of your hand. It's not like a little baked potato. It's huge. So you eat this potato and your body goes insulin dose after insulin dose after insulin dose to regulate the blood sugar spike that is coming from that potato. Well, that insulin gets out there, and guess what it does? Oh, it says, oh my goodness, there's fat out here. Yay! I need to go pick that fat up, and I need to go store it. Okay? This is why we call insulin the fat bus, because a bus, the job of a bus is to pick people up and take them to their destination. Well, the job of the fat bus, which is insulin, its job is to regulate blood sugar, but it stores fat too. So it goes, let me go pick up all that fat and let me store it. Takes it back to the bus port, which is butt and gut usually. Or right here, I had a bunch there, here, all kinds of places, wherever your body stores it. So if you know now that scientifically this happens, then you're not going to want to have a steak and a baked potato get together on a perfect day. If you want to eat a steak and a baked potato together, do it. It's just called a holiday, all right? And you get up to 6 a month. Now, but knowing this information, let's talk about an alternative that you could order when you're out at a restaurant. You order that steak, but now that you know this information, you order broccoli in a side salad with approved dressing. Yay! No croutons though, because they bring insulin, and you don't want to put that with the protein plus fat. So in my mind, if I'm eating anything that's considered a protein plus fat, I either 1, eat it by itself, or 2, I eat it with a fibrous carb, which is a 2. Now, with that said, you can still have protein plus fat with another protein. So let's say that you want some surf and turf. You can have surf and turf, steak and lobster, totally fine. So if we're using our hand, maybe we put you're still doing all protein source under one hand though, okay? It's not like it doubles the portion. So you might put your steak right here, maybe your lobster here, and then you could still portion control, put it with a category 2. You can do that. And we're going to talk more about these things tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're also going to talk about condiments. I don't hit the condiment rule today, okay? But we're going to recap this real quick. And I didn't even talk about this, but your fastest fat-burning combination is a category 1 or 7, which is both lean proteins. This one's just categorized as shellfish. And a fibrous carb cooked in MCT. We're getting to the exciting secret of MCT. Cooked in MCT is your fastest fat-burning combination. If you want to eat a 3, which is an energy carb, or a 5, which is fruit, it must be eaten with a lean protein, which is also a shellfish, and a 2, which is fibrous carbs. Don't eat category 4s, which are your protein plus fats, with your energy carbs, your fruit, or your superfoods, because they bring more of an insulin release, and you don't want to have fat in with an insulin release. And then point number 4 on here, all meat at a restaurant should be considered a 4. Basically what this means is when you go into a restaurant, maybe you think, oh, I'm going to have a chicken breast, and I'm going to have green beans, and I'm going to have some mashed potatoes, because I know that if I want to eat potatoes, I have to have a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Well, that works best at home, because a lean protein at the restaurant turns into a protein plus fat, because you don't know what oil they cooked it in. And if they've cooked it in olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, if they have cooked it in an unapproved oil, you now have fat in it. So you don't want to put it with those potatoes. Okay. So in order to keep you safe, you just consider all meat at a restaurant a category 4. That means you could eat it by itself or eat it with a category 2. Okay. Approved cooking oils. How many of you have, in the past, decided to go to the gym or start exercising to try to burn fat? I'm sure a lot of us have done that. On Facebook, if you have, give me some hearts. You can tell me in the Zoom room. Well, and then you've possibly done that. And when you did that, you were there for a week and you didn't see any change on the scale. You were there for 2 weeks and you didn't see any change on the scale. You're getting frustrated. You're like, this doesn't work. Why am I putting this effort into this? Well, it might have been because you hadn't changed the nutrition. And the nutrition is what is so, so important. Now, if you're an exerciser already, please keep that up, because that's not something new that you're learning, and you're not having to change that because that's already part of what you do. But if you are brand new and you don't exercise, just learn the nutrition first, okay, and then add the exercise in, all right? It should not, Anna. Hemp oil or seeds should not cause a false positive on a drug test. I mean, we can ask in the Shibboleth silver. No, not that. Anna, are you a member of the Shibboleth Fixed It group? Okay, cool. Ask that question there just to make sure that Kim Shibboleth tells us the right thing, but it shouldn't, because there's no THC. There's no THC in any of that, so it shouldn't. But I want to hear from her. Okay, we'll get a double answer. But if you've tried to, cool. If you've tried to lose weight by exercising before but didn't change nutrition, it's important to look at what you've been cooking with. So we're going to talk about approved cooking oils. Our number one approved cooking oil is MCT oil. But guess what? 100% MCT oil, not just repackaged coconut oil like some manufacturers are trying to sell you. 100% coconut oil. I mean, MCT oil. The second choice would be coconut oil because it is 60% MCTs. The third choice would be ghee butter, because that is a clarified butter. Once that butter has been clarified, it's 40% MCTs. You can also use hemp oil, and you can use zero-calorie cooking spray. I'm going to talk about what MCT oil is first, and then we're going to talk about that in comparison to a zero-calorie cooking spray. So MCT is a medium chain triglyceride. And what you probably have been using is olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, things like that. Well, when you use those are long chain triglycerides, and they take a really long time to burn up as energy. In fact, they take so long to burn up that they have a great propensity to be stored as fat because they're not being burned up. Whereas the medium chain triglyceride burns up like that. Okay, it has almost no propensity to be stored in the body as fat because it burns up. Okay, so that's why we want to cook in that, because it's not going to get stored on the body as fat. Now, I do want to let you know that when you are cooking on your stove, that you want to cook on low to medium heat when you're cooking, because it does have a low smoke point and it will set off your smoke detector if you try to cook on high. Okay, so cook on low to medium heat. And the fact that I need to tell you that just shows you that it burns up quickly. Your serving amount of medium chain triglyceride is 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon per meal per person. So let's say you're cooking 1 chicken breast, you could use 1 tablespoon of MCT. If you're cooking 4 chicken breasts, you could use 4 tablespoons of MCT, okay? Now, this medium chain triglyceride there's a couple of things that you don't do with it, because there's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of people trying to sell you their stuff and get you to think that their stuff's going to work the best, but they're not in the same nutritional situation that we are in. All nutrition is situational. We're currently in the situation that we want to access and burn stored energy, which is fat. We want to access it, we want to burn it, we want to use it as energy, and when we do that, we lean out. Okay, that's what we're wanting to do. So this medium chain triglyceride does not get used in your coffee as bulletproof coffee. You also do not need to get it in. You don't need to get it in. It's not a supplement. You also do not need to put it in a shake or anything like that. On Shibboleth, we use medium chain triglycerides for 3 different things. Cooking in a pan, cooking in a recipe if it calls for oils, and making salad dressings. Excuse me. And making salad dressing. So it's really all about cooking or using it as a salad dressing, but we don't use it for any other reason. If you are cooking a protein plus fat, use the zero-calorie cooking spray. That's what I would use. But if you're cooking a lean protein, then you can use a medium chain triglyceride, okay? Now, These others come in just because they do work and you can use them. It's just that this one makes your meal the fastest fat burning meal. We do sell our preferred version of it in the store. It's called Zero Drag. Zero Drag MCT oil. Ours has been optimized for cooking. It also just has 100 calories per tablespoon, whereas most other ones have 130 calories per tablespoon. If you buy ours, if we know we like it, okay? If you just look for one in the store or some other place, then you're going to want to make sure on there in the ingredients it says 100% medium chain triglycerides. Don't let the ingredient list say coconut oil, okay? Because they might say on the front MCT oil, but then when the ingredient list it says coconut oil. That's not what you're going to buy. Also, make sure that it does say on there that you can cook with it. So if it's been emulsified, you can't cook with it. Okay, so look for those little things. But let's say that you're wanting something that needs a butter flavor, then use the ghee butter. Maybe you're making a shrimp scampi or something like that. Use ghee butter. But if I'm cooking whole eggs or something that is has fat in it, I use the 0-calorie cooking spray. So I had a really great question one night. Somebody said, well, why would I choose to use this up here, which has calories and it's a fat, as compared to 0-calorie cooking spray? Well, here's the thing. Medium chain triglyceride does two things for us in weight loss. It has a muscle preserving effect, and that's what we want to do. We want to preserve our muscles in weight loss. It also has a metabolism building effect. It's thermogenic, so it helps burn a few extra calories, and that is a good thing. It's just that you want to make sure you do the right thing with it. And Zero Drag is just the name of the brand. So like if you went to bought Sara Lee 45 Calorie Delightful, Sara Lee is the brand. Zero Drag is the brand that Travis has kind of branded for some Shibboleth items. Like we have some Zero Drag vitamins and things like that. Yeah. Okay, let's look at this next slide. We're going to start moving faster as we go through this because we're coming to the end of it. But you want to remain in EFB as often as possible. After 2 perfect days, which you're going to journal that. When you go into your journal, the very first thing it asks you is what type of day you're having. So you just mark on there what type of day you are having. If you say any type of perfect day, is going to give you a green check, or if there's an extra special icon for some other day you're doing, it'll give you that icon, okay? But let's just talk about green checks. It'll give you a green check. That's your first perfect day. Your second perfect day will give you another green check. Your third perfect day, you are going to see a flame, okay? That is your first day in EFB. Now, we're striving for perfect days, and you want to string as many efficient fat-burning days together as you can for the best results, but planned or unplanned, a holiday is coming. So you just need to enjoy that holiday, and then you just get right back to your perfect days after that. So maybe you have 2 holidays in a row due to being out of town over a weekend. Totally fine. Have your 2 holidays in a row, get right back to your perfect days. But what you want to keep in mind, you'll see a little smiley face guy with a mask. He's taking his mask off on the holiday. And you'll see that on your timing chart. But then you're going to see green check, flame, and you know you're back to EFB, efficient fat burning, okay? So just keep in mind that after a holiday, there's 2 days, 2 perfect days to get you back into EFB. When we are in efficient fat burning, this is exciting. Our body must access stored energy. Okay, stored energy is just fat. We've overeaten by X number of calories that didn't get burned off. It got stored as fat. And so our body is going to access that stored energy, use it as fat, and that's when we start to lean out and lose unwanted body fat. But what's happening is we're not giving it the wrong oil. So see, the wrong oil is easily accessible energy. And we're also not giving it sugary or starchy carbs in the wrong combinations. And so those are actually easily accessible sources of energy. But the way that we combine it works. So you're going to burn stored fat, and that's what you want to do. So let's just recap what the fat bus is, okay? The fat bus is insulin. Insulin is a hormone, and it is specifically focused on fat storage. Do you know what? We have other growth hormones that come out at night, and they're really good for cellular recovery and things like that, but not insulin. It is going to store fat. So if you've had a holiday, you're going to store fat for up to 48 hours after that. That's why we have to have 2 perfect days to get back into our efficient fat burning, because we don't want to be in fat storing mode, which happens during those holidays. But during the 2 perfect days, your body is dissipating. All that insulin is starting to dissipate and go away, and your body is getting rid of any glycogen, which is sugar, that came from eating unapproved things, okay? But fat storage will occur for up to 48 hours. Also, point number 3 right here is important. Insulin increases appetite. So if you've had a holiday and you're wondering, back on your first perfect day after maybe 2 holidays in a row, you're wondering, dang, I had been through a whole week of efficient fat burning and I wasn't hungry at all. Everything was great. But now after these 2 holidays and I'm getting back to my perfect day, I'm hungry. Just know it's that insulin. It's an appetite increaser. So it's going to increase your appetite. Just know that you pull out the strategy of, oh yeah, I'm not really hungry. It's that insulin. It's going to be dissipating. Let me get back to EFB where I was quite happy and not fighting that insulin. So just to recap, after the fat bus has been on its rounds, it takes 2 perfect days to get back into EFB. So now your question is, because I want you to get started tomorrow, your question is, what am I going to eat this week? Well, if you're a brand new member, your food library and your dashboard has categories with foods in there, okay? There's a print button up top. I would print that and then go through those and make little checks by the foods you like. Because you need to have some foods in category 1 that you like, and you need to have some foods in category 2 that you like to do your fastest fat burning combinations. So pick something from category 1, pick something from category 2, put them together. That's it. And if it's something that you could cook up in MCT oil, cook it up in MCT oil, and you have your fastest fat burning combination. That's how you want to start off with just simple whole foods, putting them together. But I do want to remind you that not everybody, I really don't know that many people that get up and cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. I mean, most of us are pretty busy. So don't forget about meal replacements. Meal replacements are simply a Mighty Muffin, or at the store, we carry these bars. It's a 12-inch bar. We cut it at 4 inches and at 8 inches, and that makes thirds. A third of it is a meal, and they are delicious, absolutely delicious. That's a meal replacement. We've got pancakes, which are a meal replacement, all kinds of things like that. There's Power Crunch bars, Grab the Gold bars, the oatmeal protein pies, which I love, by the way. The oatmeal protein pies, they happen a lot at lunch because I'm driving around in my car a lot for lunch, and I do those. But if you're in the new member fast track group, I have a post on my top 10 favorite meal replacements, so you could look at those. So you kind of learn how to food combine, but don't forget about meal replacements for simplicity. Here's the great thing about a meal replacement. They have been patterned after those things we might be missing out on. Maybe we're missing out on a candy bar. Maybe we're missing out on chips. Maybe we're missing out on a piece of candy or something like that. Well, you can find the meal replacements that are like that. And let's say that I'm having a hankering for chips one day. I eat 2 bags of Healthwise potato chips for lunch. That's considered a meal replacement. And they're good, and I've had my chip fix, and I like chips. So that's how you might want to use those to get over a void that you might be feeling when you're changing up what you're eating. But then just keep it really simple in the beginning and then branch out as you start to live the lifestyle, okay? Now, we're going to talk about how to take advantage of all of our awesome resources. You're going to want to make sure you're in all of the Facebook support groups that you can be a member of. Keep in mind that there are some that are more advanced, And you really just want to learn the basics first. Basics first, then you can advance as you're ready, okay? But in the New Member Fast Track Facebook group, there's a link to the Facebook groups that you need to be a part of in the beginning. Okay, so go in there and just join those. You're going to familiarize yourself with our awesome, awesome website. Okay, now if you'll watch the little pre-recorded videos that I do that come out each morning, they always come out before 6 a.m. If you are not getting notified that that comes out, go to the New Member Fast Track group where you're a member and make sure that you've set that up to get notifications. But you have to remember that you are in a group where you're trying to learn something this week. So go to that group and access it and look at it. So if you're an early bird, it's out before 6 every morning. If you can't do it till later, it's going to be there for you when you get home from work or whatever. And then what I'm doing in those videos is, one, I show you how to do everything that I'm asking you to do in the post. I also am trying to shorten your learning curve on how to use our website. So the post that comes out each day is kind of like an assignment. Like if you were in school, you do a little assignment to do your homework to learn what the teacher's trying to teach you. And then you get to watch your video that is me showing you how to do those things. Then I want you to make a getting started mentor appointment. But I do not want you to make that appointment until next week. Now, when you hop off of here, I do suggest that you go ahead and hit this button, mentor.genbook.com. It'll be in the post in the group for today. Go ahead and hit that button. Make your appointment for next week. The reason I say that is because you're going to have a better appointment with your mentor if she isn't spending her whole time with you trying to teach you the lifestyle. If you'll spend this week learning the lifestyle, y'all can have a more intelligent conversation next week when maybe she just kind of wraps up everything for you, or y'all talk about food and what you can eat. So you can see how that would make more sense to not let her have to teach you everything when that's what this week is for. And I really want you to participate in each post that comes out. So if it says, tell me a lean protein and fibrous carb meal that you want to eat, please comment, because the more you comment, the more I know you're paying attention, and it just helps me know that you're really serious about doing well, okay? And then welcome to the Shibboleth family. We are here for you. And just to let you know that all of the mentors and people that work for Shibboleth have been where you are, and they have overcome. And all they want to do is see you succeed. So that is their goal. So they go and watch the Facebook groups. They comment. They answer questions. So, you could friend Joni Shibboleth, Kim Shibboleth, Missy Shibboleth. And by the way, that's not their last name. They just use that for their Facebook names. But you can friend them. And then if you have a question, you can tag them and say, hey, I need this answered. So that's a great way to do that. While we're here, I'm going to grab the New Member Fast Track group. If you're not a member of this, this is the link for you, okay? That's the link. You'll want to join that if you're not a member already, okay? It looks like there was only 2 people wanting to get in. You have to be a member of Shibboleth to get in this group. So sometimes people hear about this group and they get really excited about it, but they don't join Shibboleth. They just think they can join this group. Well, you have to be a member to join this group. But it looks like some other people are wanting to get in there. So when I hop off here, I'll go in there and make sure they're members and then let them in. But if you'll see down below, tomorrow night's webinar link is right here. So make sure you have registered for that. But here is my 10 favorite meal replacements, which is really good. Very helpful. If you haven't liked the public page for Shibboleth, please like the public page, because the public page is where I go live Monday through Friday morning with something called the Shibby Show. And it's just a way for us to focus in on the day and help us know that we're going to have a great Shibboleth day. And then this is how this group works and everything. So if you just kind of go through this group, it will help you. Now, currently, these are just like some charts and other things. There's that Origins of Shibboleth video that I want you to watch. This is me cooking breakfast one morning. I just kept it in there because it's just interesting to see what I was cooking. This is a car rant about ordering in a restaurant. And then look, meal plans. See, there's some meal plans. So if you click right here, this is a meal plan. And if you want to know what I ate for my first 20 days in Shibboleth, it's right here. It is not a magical meal plan. In fact, I ate about 30 mighty muffins in my first 20 days. And I did that because I liked the way they tasted. They kept me full, and I knew they would help me stay in EFB while I was learning everything else. So it's not a magical meal plan, but if you want to see what I did, you can click right there. So as you can see, the things that I've left in here are things that I think you need. And you can make it all the way down to the bottom of this group. These are the groups you need to make sure you join. So everything in there is just set up right there for you. And just post and let us know if you have any questions at all. When you are posting, like let's say that you want to know if a food item is approved, take a picture of the front of the item and the back of the item. You actually post that in the Shibboleth Fixed It group. And Kim Shibboleth monitors that group. And what happens is if she is able to approve it, she'll add it to the food library. That way everybody can benefit from it. But if she can't approve it, she'll explain to you why she can't approve it. So that goes in the Shibboleth Fixed It group. But if you have any other just generalized questions, the absolute best place to ask that is in the silver level group. The reason I say that is there's a lot of experienced members in there, and you're going to get a lot more responses from that group versus the new member group. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So if you've got something, like if you say, hey, what are your favorite whatevers, ask that in the silver level group, because they're going to be able to help you and everything. Do y'all have any questions? Otherwise, make sure that you register for tomorrow night. If you've got any questions, please type them in. And if you don't, we're going to start hopping off of here, and just make sure that you have joined those groups, that you're in the Shibboleth New Member Fast Track group, and that you get notifications. Make sure that you have liked the public page so that we can do the Shibby Show in the morning and do this lifestyle together. And if you are on here and you, by chance, were just given this webinar link by a friend, please make sure that you join. You do get the first class for free, which would have been this one. And then you just need to join to participate in the other ones, okay? All right, I'm gonna say goodnight. Bye, everybody. And those of you that watched on Facebook, hold on, let's see. Ciara on Facebook, it says, could you cook eggs in the MCT oil since it's already a fat? So what I would do is whole eggs, I would cook in 0-calorie cooking spray. Egg whites, I would cook in MCT oil. And I hope that helps, because you don't need the MCT oil with the yolk, which is the fat of a whole egg. I hope you're still on there. I hope you got that one. You're welcome, Wendy. Okay, so I've got a great question. How do I get to the food library? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you, because it's easier. Because, let's see. Wanda, are you a new member? I know you probably set up above, but I can't remember. Are you a new member? Okay, new member. So what I'm going to do is I am going to log into my new member account. I've got two. Okay, so this dashboard, this is what a new member dashboard looks like. So see this food library, Wanda? So you can click there. Now, but if you'll notice that this food library is broken down into categories. This is just to help you out while you're brand new. So this is a very simple food library to not make it overwhelming in the beginning. But if you want to click this button right here, this print button, you can print this and look, you can create, you can then go through and check off the foods you like in each one of these categories. Okay. Now let's say that you say, oh yeah, I like ballpark turkey franks. If you click right there, it's going to take you to this ballpark turkey frank. It's going to tell you exactly what categories that it is in. It's going to tell you your approved portion, and it's going to give you another description. And if there's any recipes, it's going to link those recipes there. And the recipes, the where to buy, the grocery lists, and all of those things, I show you throughout those pre-recorded videos this week. So make sure you're watching those. Kristen, I see your question. I'm going to come back to that. Anna, the -3 is actually very exciting. Okay, so this -3 is the weight loss meter, the weight loss meter. The weight loss meter helps, it kind of is a secondary way for you to tell if this is really great for weight loss or not. The negative numbers are better for weight loss. Positive numbers won't bring you out of EFB, but if you're doing positive numbers too much in weight loss, you might not see the results that you wanted. So, but Wanda, I'm still not finished. Hang on, I'm gonna show you something else, Wanda, so don't leave me. So the -3 is a secondary way to judge food, basically. But if you have zeros, zero is not going to help you, not going to hurt you, and -3s are better for weight loss. Now, the other thing is, let's say that a food item is a -3, but let's say that it also can be used as a snack. If you use that as a snack in addition to all of your meals, it goes to a 0 because snacks aren't that great for weight loss, so it would go to a 0 on the weight loss meter. So the food gets its own weight loss meter, but it also depends on how you're using it. If you're using it in a way that's not that great for weight loss, it'll change the weight loss meter. And if there's options to do that, it'll usually tell you in the description. So the weight loss meter, but I'm gonna go talk about Wanda's thing and Anna's with this. So I'm gonna hit the food library again, and it takes us back to this. Now, being a new member, you have this dashboard. Right now, once you have done the fast track week, you've watched all the 14 little videos and everything, then you need to watch Travis's original daily doses. Once you've watched Travis's original daily doses, your whole website opens up and you won't have this small food library again. But Wanda, if you want to get to the complete food library, there is a link right there. Go to complete food library. So let's say we go to complete food library, and because I like meal replacements, I'm going to click on this right here. You see where it says meal replacement? I'm going to click there. Now it's going to generate a list of every meal replacement that is in our food library. And by the way, the food library is member generated quite a bit. So that's why I was telling you to post something in the Shibboleth Fixed It group so that you can see if it can be added. First of all, let's talk about these filters. Do you see, like, if you needed something that was allergen free, you could click there. If you need something gluten free, you could click there. If you need something with no artificial sweeteners, you could click there. And these are filters that you can use. But see right here where it says weight loss meter, there's a -3 and a +3. There's this little ball, it's a slider. You're going to grab this ball and slide this over to -2, -3. The reason I didn't do -1 because meal replacements for weight loss are best if it's in the -2, -3 range. Well, then I have to hit the set button. Once I hit that set button, it's going to regenerate this list of foods. There's that nuts and more and apple that you asked about, Anna, earlier. But okay, so now if you'll see, we've got a big old long list of food, and you see these little negative numbers right there? That's your weight loss meter. And any of these would be really great for weight loss. If you find that you really like one of these items, go ahead and heart it. When you heart it, it moves. Any food that you heart moves into your own personal food library in your journal. Exciting, because you don't have to have the big giant food library. You can just take the foods you've hearted and it moves over in there. So if you're looking for something that you know you want to access it quickly, you can just go right over there. And then you see like this number here, this number is the number of people who have also said they like this item. And then as you watch the little videos during the week, you could click right here and add to a grocery list, and I show you how to set that up, So I hope that helps, because that showed you, Wanda, how to get to the full food library, and it talked about the weight loss meter. Now, Kristen, your question is, which video did I say to watch? I'm confused because I don't know which video I said, but I'm going to show you this. I want y'all to click right here on this yellow tab, and these are the fast track videos. These are the ones you want to watch. In tomorrow's video that comes out, assignment in the morning on the Shibboleth New Member Fast Track, when it comes out, it's going to talk about these 10 blue links and printing out the ones that you want to print out. Yes, yes. Watch each one of these videos. There's 14 videos here. Guess what? It takes less than 1 hour. Less than 1 hour to watch all 14, which is great. After this is over, there's a big old honking 60-question test or something like that. I made it up, I know, because I wanted to make sure y'all paid attention. And so I hope you pass. But you do get a badge for passing, which is great. Once you have watched a video, make sure that you mark yes that you've watched it. See this hyperlink right here? It starts off as blue, but after you have marked that you've watched it, one, it changes it to green so that you know you've already watched it the next time you come into this page. And two, if you're wanting to watch the next one because you've got time to watch the very next one, it moves to the very next one for you. Oh, good. Awesome. Awesome, Anna. Good. Did y'all pass the test? Okay, awesome, 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 good. Kristen, okay, good job on passing the test. Okay, something else. All right, so I'm going to try to find it, Kristen. I did say, well, I didn't say this, but that couldn't have been it. But y'all watch, if you're here tonight, you don't need to watch this. But if you were to miss tomorrow night, you could watch this one. But that's right. Okay, for your second badge, y'all, go to Travis's Daily Doses, and they are right here under topics in your video library. But Kristen, one of the things that I was saying was to watch the videos that come out each day in the New Member Fast Track group. Is that what you're talking about, possibly? Because I did talk about that quite a bit. Because I had a little pre-recorded YouTube video in there. And y'all, if I'm ever taking you to the food library in one of those videos, it's the full food library. So you're going to have to do that little trick of going there. Yeah, I don't know, Kristen. Kristen, if you watched, you already did these, but if you make sure you do tonight and tomorrow night, and you watch the little videos that come out each morning in the New Member Fast Track group, you'll be good for the week. The second set of videos that I said to watch was the original Daily Doses by Travis. Oh, Lisa, I'm glad to see that. That's awesome. Good, good. I'm glad you're here. But honestly, it was, you've been on the call? I'm glad you saw it. If you missed anything, you can watch on replay too, okay? All right, so those are the videos that I talked about, Kristen. So maybe that will cover that. Um, but y'all can see how if you printed out this right here, this would be a really great thing to do because it gets you started on knowing which foods are in there in each category. Oh, and tomorrow night we're going to talk about breads, and there are breads in the category 2 column category. All right, I'm running out of words. So I will see y'all later. And welcome to Shibboleth. We're here for you. And just stay close to the community and participate. Please participate by commenting on posts in the new member fast track group. Bye, everybody. You're welcome, Kristen.